Okay, welcome to the webinar today. It's so great to see you all here today, and I'm excited to answer your questions and for us to get kind of that personalized, get that personalized feedback as you're going through the Pronunciation Pro course. Okay, so today is August 31st, the last day of the month. We're getting into September, getting into the fall, and basically what I start thinking about is, have you reached your 2016 goal of being able to speak English clearly and with confidence? And if not, then I want to make sure that we can help you reach that goal and that we kind of refocus, because at the beginning of the year, I know I have a lot of students that are thinking, okay, I'm ready to work on this, and then sometimes they get distracted and kind of fall behind, or they're still kind of working on things or not as focused as they want. So now is the time to refocus and say, okay, here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to accomplish for the remainder of this 2016 year. And make sure that clear, confident English is back at the top of their priority list, if that is really what your goal is for this year. Okay, so we're going to go over a few things here at the beginning, a couple of questions, and then we're going to open it up to any questions that you have that are on the call today. And so start writing them in the questions box right now, because that will be where I go to. We'll just start going down the list and helping you out. Okay. Okay, so first of all, just, for those of you who are new to the program or new to the webinar, my name is Annie Rudin, and I am a speech-language pathologist. I have a master's degree in communication sciences and disorders, but have then kind of gone into the niche of accent reduction training, because all of my education and experience and everything has really prepared me to be able to help you in a unique way. So hopefully you've been able to see that through as you've gone through the videos and things like that. On a personal note, this is my husband and my 3 boys. Andrew, Dan is my husband, Andrew, Jimmy, and Luke are my sons. And we have a 4th son on the way. His name will be Thomas, and he's coming in November, so we're excited about that. And it's actually my husband's birthday tomorrow, so that's kind of fun. All right. One thing that I want to mention is we have a bit of a promotion, I guess you could call it, right now. I only do this once a year here at kind of back to school time, because of that feeling of like wanting to help you accomplish that goal before the end of the year. And so here's what we have to offer. So for the Premier package, if you're interested in getting just that one-on-one attention with a trainer, you have 12 live lessons with your trainer while you're going through the program. So you have a very customized, very one-on-one experience with the Premier package. So we have $100 off of that right now. The Plus package, we have $50 off, and what the Plus package is you get an initial evaluation, which is what you get with Premier. Premier, you get initial and final evaluation of your accent, so you know exactly what it is that you need to work on through the program and how much progress you've made. The Plus package, you get the initial evaluation and you get feedback on 12 weekly assignments that you send in to us. So you'll have one trainer the whole time. They'll get very comfortable with you, very familiar with what you're working on and how you're growing. It's a very personalized package. One thing that I do see from students, and Andrea, our lead trainer, she was just telling me this too, is that she has seen when students go through the Plus package and then do maybe 6 live trainings after that, how much progress, how incredible the growth is during that time. Because the Plus package, you're doing that with those weekly assignments for 12 weeks, or, it's flexible, but we try to help you complete it in, 3 to 5 months. We want you to to stay on top of that. But the Plus package, when you do that package and then as needed, you know, you might not need it after the weekly assignments, but as needed, if you then sign up for the 6 live trainings, then she was just saying what incredible growth she sees during that time, because you get that personalized feedback and help with your pronunciation, and then you really take it to another level with the 6 live trainings. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and sign up for that Plus package, because we definitely don't give any more of a discount, and we won't for the rest of the year, probably till next year this time. And then the basic yearly, there's $40 off of that as well. So what you'll have to do to get this is just enter in the, so most of you are members, or all of you are members right now. So basically, if you go to any of these, go to the pronunciationpro.com website, go to the pricing page, and choose which one you want. When you're checking out, enter the coupon code 2016 GOAL, and you'll be able to get that discount. Okay. It's only available for one-time payments. So if there's an option for three monthly payments for these upgraded packages, but it's only available for the one-time payment. And we do offer PayPal as an option at checkout. So we've had credit card, now we have PayPal and credit card. And this offer ends next Wednesday, September 7th. So if that's something that you're thinking, oh, I would like to upgrade or something, now is the time, is definitely the time for that. Okay. All right. So let's get into questions here. Oh, and you know what? One thing that I was wanting to say as I talked about those different packages is I've gotten a couple of emails this week. One from someone that said, okay, basically I'm ready to pay whatever you want, but I need to get rid of my accent in 3 weeks. And basically I had to respond and just say, I'm excited about your enthusiasm, but that's not how this works. To really make a big difference in the way you speak, which is a huge part of you and something that makes a huge difference in your life. It's not a quick fix. It's not something that you can change, that quickly. The students that I see make the most progress with their pronunciation and their fluency and their speaking and their communication are those who see it as a long-term commitment. It's something that they say, okay, 6 months from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, I'm going to see huge changes in my speaking, my spoken English, because I'm putting consistent effort into it day by day. And it becomes part of you when it's just that daily dose, you get that daily dose and you're exposing to yourself to it daily or every other day. That's when it becomes a part of you. And so it's not these gimmicky quick fix kind of situation. We're developing strategies, we're developing understanding about the English language that I want to become a part of you, because it's the only when it becomes a part of you that it really can flow freely and without great effort as you're speaking in conversation and presentations and interviews when the stakes are high and your nerves are kind of on edge. It's only when it's become a part of you that you're really going to be able to have that big difference. Okay, so I hope that's clear to you, and that you kind of think about your motivations and say, okay, this is something I'm just going to have as a part of my life. It's not necessarily something that I have to spend an hour or two on every day, but just a bit every day makes a big difference over the long run. All right, great. Okay, so Valeria, Okay, I'm not seeing you in the on the webinar today, but let's go through your questions real quick. So Valeria was asking what the difference is between some of these words, and the difference are more in the vowels. Okay, so we have hat and hot, hat and hot, ah, ah. So it's that difference between the ah sound and the ah sound. Ah, ah. And I'm going to go through a few of these, and then I'm going to have someone, see if someone wants to volunteer to go through these with me, because it's when I hear you that I can kind of adjust how you're saying it. So ah has more of a wide open, kind of wider mouth position to it. Ah, ah, ah. Ah has more of a longer, so you're going to drop your jaw a little bit more for the ah, the second one. Ah, hot. So we got hat, hot. All right, the next one is word and world. Okay, the only difference between these, so you see the first part is exactly the same, were, but the world has that dark L in there. World. So what happens is your tongue comes out back for the R sound, and then it kind of drops into this cup shape, like we teach you about the dark L. World. So the biggest part, and I'll have you guys work on this for whoever wants to volunteer, is breaking it apart, especially this word world. Word seems to be a little bit easier than world. So what we do is we kind of break that apart. World. So we can drop that tongue and get that ol sound in there. The next one is party, potty, and patty. So the difference here again is those vowels. R, we have the R vowel. We have the ah, same as in hot. Potty and hot have that ah, where it's dropped, ah, and it's kind of a long ah. And then patty has that ah sound, same as hat there. Okay, and if you have questions about this, go ahead and write them in the questions box. I'm watching the questions box in case you have any questions about this. So all in the vowels. You do notice that I changed the T to a D. That's that tap T rule. When it's surrounded by vowels, then when a T is surrounded by vowels, we tend to make it into a D sound. R vowels are part of that rule. So if you say AR, ER, OR, IR, those are called R vowels, and so they're considered vowels in this situation. So when a T is surrounded by vowels, we make it a D. Party, potty, patty. And if you can't hear the difference, when I'm saying those and you can't hear the difference, please raise your hand or say something in the comments box so that we can work onto that together, because that is the big difference. Valeria was asking, I'd like to hear the difference between these. So having a hard time hearing the difference has to come first before you can actually say them correctly. Okay, so let's go through these last examples. Buddy, and she put down buddy, but I'm not sure. I've never seen it spelled this way, and I would pronounce it buddy, just the same as the first. So buddy, and body. So the difference here is we have the short so this is the most neutral sound, and then body, potty, and hot are the same vowel sound. Hot, potty, body. All right, anyone want to try this? There's like a raised hand icon that you can do. All right, Tian, let me unmute you. Tian, you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, glad to have you back. All right.
Okay.
Let's go through some of these. So I want you to say them for me. Or are you having a hard time hearing the difference between any of these?
Not hard for hearing, but a little bit difficult for pronounce.
Okay, good. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's have you say them for me.
Okay. Hot, hot.
Good. I like the difference there. Hat, hot. I could hear a definite change in the shape of your mouth. All right, and these other ones?
Word, word.
Okay. So in this one, make sure we get a D sound. So I heard a little bit of a wort, wort with the T sound.
Ah,
So we want to get that D sound. Word, word.
yeah. Word,
Yeah. So just like in
word.
the word. And it might take kind of emphasizing it at first, but when you put it in connected speech, then it it's not as emphasized, I guess you could say, and unnatural. So word.
Okay.
What word is that? Say that for me.
That word is that.
So what word is that?
What word is that?
Yeah. Okay, good. And then world. World.
World,
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hearing that change in your tongue. So world, you get that.
Mhm.
Where in the world do you live? Say that for me.
Uh, Where is the world do you live?
Okay. All right, next one.
Uh, Party,
Okay.
party. Yeah. Party, party, party.
Okay. So I'm hearing a clear difference between potty and patty, and I want a stronger R in party so it doesn't sound like potty. This one.
Okay.
Okay, so party.
Party, party.
Yeah. Okay, so party. So when you get that tongue engaged, then it's going to sound more like a party than a potty.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I know, but I'm on this third week with
Oh,
pronunciation pro, so
so
I
you're
need to
working,
practice
yeah,
more R
you're going to
sound.
be
Yeah.
getting into the R's soon here. So yes, so you're absolutely right.
Okay.
So I'm glad to hear that you are able to pull that tongue back and get a strong R, because when you
Yeah.
get working on the R sounds, then you'll be able
Mm.
to just keep practicing pulling that R back. So do this for
Okay.
me. I'm going to the party.
I'm going to a party.
Yeah, I'm going to
Mm.
the potty.
I'm going to a party.
And which if
Party.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds great. So we, as long as you get that R back there, it won't sound like I'm going to the potty, right?
Oh, sorry.
So it can be a different. No, you did it right. But I'm just saying, contrasting those is just, even, if you don't get that R right, then it could sound like a totally different word, right?
Okay.
Okay, so those R's are important. Okay,
Yeah.
next one,
Uh, Body,
and then this one.
body.
Yeah, very clear
Mhm.
difference. Very nice. Okay, thanks, Tian.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so Rose, let's have you go through these for me. Rose, you there?
Yes.
Okay, I'm glad to have you. You said this is your first webinar you've been to.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Yep,
joining.
that's wonderful. Okay, so let's go through the top.
Mhm.
So say these words for me.
World, world, and word.
Okay, so go to the very top. So hat and hot.
Hat and hot.
Good. Okay, next one.
Party and party. No, party and party.
Okay, so this one, there's a little bit of it's pretty close. So first, let's do party, the first one, party.
Party,
Okay, so I'm hearing good strong R there. Potty.
party.
Okay. Par, do that one for me. Say par and paw.
Party and party.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, and then do patty.
Party,
So this one we've got to want to get a patty.
patty,
There you go. Do it again.
party, party and party.
Yep. Okay, so do all three of them. So party, potty, patty.
Party, party, patty.
Mm-hmm. Good. All right, next one.
World and word.
So are you able to see the buddy and body on the bottom?
Okay. Body, buddy.
There you,
B-U-D-D-Y,
yeah,
buddy.
do that one first.
And then buddy, then body, party, heart.
Let's see. I'm trying to.
Yeah,
Are you? I just want to make sure that you're seeing what I'm seeing.
Oh, okay.
Are you seeing the where it says top of it says questions?
Okay, I got it now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
I got it now.
Do these bottom ones, buddy and body.
Body. And
Again?
body.
Okay, good.
Buddy, 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 body.
There you go. Yep, I'm hearing a very clear difference there. Good. So you're in the very first week of the program, is that right, Rose?
Yes.
Okay, good. And what you're saying that you're working on your accent and are you in the U.S. or are you somewhere else?
No, I'm in Los Angeles. I'm in
good.
Los Angeles. Yeah, I came from New York, so I used to speak very fast.
Okay.
And now you have to speak here slow. And definitely I have strong Indian accent, so I want to improve on that.
Isn't that interesting how just the difference between the East Coast and the West Coast, just the pace?
Yeah, it's a two different world.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so that's interesting, kind of reducing the speed of your speech to kind of accommodate people there. And I'm guessing even in New York, they're probably used to the Indian accent more so than in California.
Yes, it is so true. And Indian also, we speak very fast. Like we don't speak like, it's not like a scanned speech. It's like at least 100 to 120 words per minute. And in America, I think it is less than that, right?
Yeah, there's probably, I don't know exactly the speed, and it varies, like you said, in New York versus California, but yeah, there definitely is a tempo to our clients in India where I have to say, okay, we have to slow it down a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a lot of the rhythm. So as you get into the rhythm, you'll kind of notice that there's so with my Indian students, just as a little tip for you, a lot of times what I hear is more of a kind of stepping up and down stairs as the rhythm, kind of up, down, up, down pattern. In American English, it's more like up and down hills. So we go up and we come down, and we go up and we come down. And so there's this gradual increase and decrease rhythm to it that is going to be different than the rhythm you're used to. So as you're going through the program, just kind of be aware of that, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, glad to have you here. Thanks for volunteering. Okay. All right, so we're going to move on from here. Rania, I know you wanted to try this out, so we'll actually, I'm going to have you go ahead real quick. Rania, you there?
Hi, Annie. How are you?
Good to see you. All right, so go ahead and go through these words for me.
Okay, hat, hot. Word, world.
Perfect, yeah.
Party, poddy, paddy.
Yep.
Buddy, body.
Yeah, excellent. Right on.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's the other question that I had. I'm having trouble with words with the TH sound and then the S. So this is Anna, and I saw Anna here, so I'm going to unmute you. Anna, you there?
Yes, I'm
Hello. Good to see you here. Okay, so it's those TH+S sounds that are causing trouble.
Yes, they're really difficult for me.
Yeah, like I said, and I responded to Anna saying they're difficult for English speakers too. I was just noticing the TH+S and the SPS, like wasps, And
Ah,
or I was listening to someone, I was saying that's just a hard combination for anyone to really put together. So here's the trick. So go ahead and say the first one for me. Months.
months.
Oh, you do a great job. Okay. There we go. Months.
Okay, months.
Okay, good. So really it's just that TH sound, and then you're pulling it really, you know, the tongue is between the two front teeth for the TH sound, then you're pulling it very quickly
For
back
the yes?
behind
Okay.
for the S, and you're doing a good job with that. So let's do it in a sentence. So how many months are left?
How many months? What was the sentence?
How many months are left?
How many months are left?
Yeah, very good. Okay, how about
Yes.
how many moths are left?
How many months are left? Months.
There you go. Yep. And
Okay.
like I said in my email, it's just these kind of situations where it's like, oh, my tongue just does not want to move in that way. It's all about repetition. Moths, 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 you know, saying it 10, 20 times and trying to get your tongue to move quickly between those two sounds is the trick. Because once your tongue kind of gets that movement and understands that movement, it won't stall so much on it.
Because I feel that sounds really unnatural on me. Like when I say it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to improve in. I've been trying so hard.
Yeah, and so it's about speed. It's because it's, you know, with as far as unnatural, it's about speed. So if with a native speaker, how many months do you have? It's just because they're able to do it faster, and it's just because of that movement is more comfortable to them. And like when you say something's unnatural, it just is a clue to me that says, okay, then repeat it over and over again.
Okay.
And get it to be natural. Just like if you're playing the piano and you're like, oh, this isn't comfortable for me. Well, you keep playing it, you know, until it does feel comfortable. Because that's what our mouths are trying to learn is those muscle movements. Okay. So do that third one, mouths.
Mouths.
Mm-hmm. It sounds really good. It sounds really good.
Oh,
So
thank you.
mouths. So we have many mouths to feed. Mouths to feed.
We have many mouths to feed.
Okay, it sounds really, really good. Okay, so when I
Okay.
hear it, I'm thinking, yes, she's got it. It's just a matter of, you know, repeating it enough that you feel comfortable with it. Okay?
Okay. Okay,
All right,
thank you.
perfect. Thank you. All right, good. Okay, so I'm going to jump into, so I was going to come back to this question from last week. We started working in rhythm and kind of going through a TED Talk speech and practicing some of that, the rising and falling rhythm. But I want to make sure that we get to all of your questions first. So I'm going to start going through and just seeing what questions you have, and we'll answer those. Okay, so we took care of Anna's question. Let me just read real quick. Okay, so Abdul's question, he says, hi, I think my English is not bad. I am even fluent in speaking, but I want to improve my accent, which is exactly, you know, that situation right there is most of our students here at Pronunciation Pro, is that you kind of reached this level of fluency in your English where you're thinking, okay, I can converse, I can hold a job, you know, like most of our students have very good jobs, English speaking companies, either here in the States or in their countries. So you're definitely in the right place. I'm just going to say that, Abdul. And he says, I usually speak English in my native language, which is Urdu, an accent, or Urdu accent. So how can I improve it? I'm taking the basic course, and he says that you can't upgrade to the Premier, what do you suggest? How can I kind of accomplish my goal? So let me go ahead and Abdul, if you're in a situation that you can talk. Abdul, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Excellent. So are you in India right now, or are you in the States?
I'm in States.
Oh, you're in the States. Okay, great. So, and what is your speaking situation on a given day? Like, are you speaking a lot? Are you, because I ask because some people are behind a computer a lot,
Yeah.
and doing their own work, and some have a lot of speaking activities throughout the day.
I think I don't speak so much, but like I have some friends, so sometime when we are together, we speak in English.
Okay.
But usually I stay in my lab and work on computer.
Okay. So that can affect things because you're not getting as much practice. But when you're in those speaking situations with friends, is it the situation where you feel like, okay, I am being asked to repeat myself and things, or how are you feeling in those situations?
Yeah, generally I don't have to repeat, like they understand me properly. But the problem is with me, like when they're speaking fast, then I can't understand them fully.
Okay. And are they native English speakers then?
Yeah, some of them.
Okay. So tell me, what week in the program are you in?
Sorry?
Where did you just join Pronunciation Pro, or where in the
Yeah,
program are you?
I'm on third week.
Okay, third week. Okay, so that's kind of where I wanted to kind of understand is, as you're going through this course, and a lot of the students that are further along in the course can kind of attest it, is that as you go through this course and you take more of that attitude of like, I'm going to go through and I'm going to just take this piece by piece and kind of incorporate these things that I'm learning bit by bit. Not only does it help your speaking, but it also helps your listening. Because you start to realize, oh, that's why they do what they do, or that's what they're doing when they're speaking. Oh, and that's the sounds that I wasn't hearing before, but now I understand that difference. And so as you go through, there's kind of these light bulbs, these ahas of just like, oh, okay, I hear that now. I wasn't hearing that before. That will help your listening skills as well. So definitely take it step by step. Do the practice. Do the work behind it. The TH sounds, the R's, like I was saying about the rhythm, kind of the jumping up and down versus kind of the moving up and down hills, kind of slowly increasing and slowly decreasing. Those are the areas in your speech that you're going to want to really work on. Okay. And that pace, like we were saying at the beginning, the pace, sometimes it gets too fast. And you probably notice this with people when you're listening to them. Is that harder when they're speaking quickly?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when someone's speaking quickly, here's just a little tip for now. We go into this more later in the program, is when someone's speaking too fast and you're having a hard time keeping up with it, try and find, and you've next week in the program, you're going to be learning about sentence stress, and that we stress key words in our sentences. So what you're going to be doing as you listen to that sentence stress lesson next week, kind of think, okay, when I'm listening to someone speak, I want to listen for where they're stressing, the words they're stressing, because those are the key words. That's what's going to help me understand them the best, is if I'm just pulling out those keywords. It's kind of like speed reading. Have you ever had any experience with speed reading?
No.
No? Okay, so there's this skills called speed reading. It's basically teaching you how to read faster. And instead of reading every single word and putting the same emphasis on every single word, the goal is to pick out kind of the high content words. So as you're listening, trying to pick out kind of those high content words, instead of giving every word the same exact attention, you're just trying to pick out those high content words. So there's kind of a lot I just threw at you. So I don't want to overwhelm you, because that's the idea of this course, is that step by step, you're going to learn everything that you need to learn. And as you go through, especially you get through the 12-week program, you're going to get a really strong foundation. And then as you go through the alumni course after that, you'll start kind of really building off of that foundation of understanding the sounds and rhythm, and understand, okay, how can I really, build on this and make it even better? Okay.
Okay.
All right. So what do you need to do to kind of help improve your accent? Keep doing what you're doing. Keep going through the course and just stay consistent with it is the short answer. All right. Thanks, Abdul.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go through a cache. Let's see. I'm going to unmute you. Akash, you there? Oh, it looks like your microphone might not be connected. I'm going to keep you unmuted in case you're able to connect a microphone there. But Akash is saying, could you please tell about breathing exercises that can help us sound more clear? Okay, so I have an exercise in the alumni program that kind of talks about this a little bit more. Because in the 3 easy tips lesson, we say, okay, move your mouth, speak up. Slow down, move your mouth, and speak up. Okay, so part of the speaking up is you have to think of your voice as an instrument. Okay, so when you're playing an instrument, think of it as like a trumpet. So you have like a trumpet or any kind of horn type of instrument. You have to blow into it and get a good strong breath. Well, our voices are the same. We have these vocal cords in our throat that vibrate, okay? And the only way they're going to vibrate, obviously when you shout, it's because you're getting more air up into those vocal cords so that they have more of that pressure on them, okay? So they'll vibrate faster and longer and louder, okay? And get that louder sound to it. So as far as breathing exercises, sitting up whenever you're speaking, and especially giving presentations or in a meeting and you're talking to people, always make sure that your posture is nice and tall, okay? So having tall posture, basically what that does is it just creates a structure inside of you where your lungs have the maximum capacity of air. Okay, so your lungs can get full of air and you're able to kind of project that, okay? So some exercises that I have you do in this later lesson is kind of going, ba 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 ba. There's saying certain sounds that might be hard for you, but getting a nice big breath and being able to get those crisp, clear sounds. Ba 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 ba, and engage that. So everything's nice and tight. So what happens is when you get everything nice and tight, as far as projection goes. So you notice that once I kind of started in on this, I was kind of slouched here, kind of talking things, and then kind of gave attention to, I might not be as clear in my pronunciation in that position. So changing my posture, getting a nice full breath is going to project that voice even better. Okay, so that is key. That's the kind of the number one of getting a nice clear sound. The second part, so we have that good strong breath that can help vibrate those vocal cords stronger. So you're getting a stronger projection to your voice. The next step is mouth position, okay? How tight and crisp your mouth position is. So if you're just, we'd say move your mouth, because if you're just kind of talking like this and you're not really moving your mouth, then the sound just is not clear enough. But if you're wanting to sound more clear, you have to get that mouth movement stronger, bigger mouth movements. Instead of keeping your mouth kind of set, We need to open our mouths. We need to get those clear movements. As you go through the course, you're going to learn exactly where your mouth needs to be during those, with specific sounds. So that's part of it. You have to make sure your mouth is in those precise positions to get the right sound. Otherwise, you're projecting something that's incorrect. So like with the TH sound, you say, I like that, I like that, I like that. With the D instead of the TH sound, you're projecting just fine, but you're projecting the wrong sound. I like that, versus I like that, I like that. Okay, so we have to make sure the mouth position is in the precise position to get the right sound. So posture, breath, and mouth position are going to make you the most clear and precise in your pronunciation. Okay, then we have the rhythm and the pace and things, but those are kind of the foundational, kind of the building blocks of having clear speech. So really good question. All right. Okay, next question. Ableen is saying, I can listen and understand what people are saying, but I can't speak the same level as my listening. What do you think I should do? Okay, so this definitely happens in second language learning, is the understanding what people are saying is going to come first before you're able to speak at the same level. So, what do you think I should do? The first is practice. Speak as much as you can, because the problem, and Ableen, I'm going to unmute you so we can kind of talk about this. Oh, it looks like your microphone might not be connected as well. What I was going to ask is just like I was asking before, what is the speaking situation that you're in? Do you have a lot of opportunities to speak English? If not, then we need to find opportunities to speak English. There was one time back when my husband and I were first married, we took 6 weeks, went to Costa Rica, lived with Costa Rican families, and tried to learn Spanish. Now, this was my first experience with Spanish, so my husband speaks Korean and is very fluent in Korean, but he was wanting to learn Spanish at that point. He picked up on it very quickly. It took me a little bit longer, and unfortunately, I haven't kept up on it as much as I want to, and that's something I'm definitely going to jump into again. But basically, having that feeling of like, I don't really know how to speak, but I really have to practice. And, these families that we were living with, I just had to talk to them and get as much practice as I could with them, even though I felt so uncomfortable and I knew I was going to make a lot of mistakes. But mistakes are part of the process. So it takes a lot of courage, and I understand that. It takes a lot of courage, a lot to just, speak up, to find opportunities to speak with other English speakers. But the more you speak, the more comfortable that will feel for you. And then also reading out loud will help a lot as far as pronunciation and fluency, and getting your mouth comfortable reading. It will give you vocabulary. So reading in English is very helpful, and reading out loud in English is helpful. And just exposing to yourself to as much as possible, but then actually moving your mouth, speaking up, talking to people is going to make the most difference. Okay? It's all about practice. I feel like I'm always coming back to that. We need to practice. We need to practice. Great speakers, you think of great orators, people who give great presentations and things. Oh, a lot of people think, it just comes easy to them. It's just something that they are naturally born with. Absolutely not. You do research, and I've read a lot of books about different leaders, world leaders, who many of them have really not been good at speaking in the past, and they've had to really work on that skill. All right. Okay, so let's move on. Tien, you just wrote in a question. We'll go over. Tien, you there?
Yes. Can
All
you hear
right.
me?
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to jump into my
Okay.
kind of blank worksheet here, and we'll start working here. So you said a sentence like "I like that." If I pronounce
Yes,
the
you
ending,
said I like that. Yeah. So I try to repeat that you said, but it's quite difficult to me.
yeah. So I like that. Say that again for me.
I like that.
I like that. Yeah. So what happens in this linking, and you'll kind of what week of the program are you in, Tien?
Pronunciation plus.
Okay, and then what week?
Yeah. The third week.
Third week. Okay. Good. Okay, so you'll get into linking and connecting a little bit later, but basically you're connecting a K to a TH sound. I like that. Okay, so you're linking that K to the TH sound.
Okay.
So what has to happen is because so you can break it down to the
because the tongues need to move a lot.
Yeah, so the tongue has to get comfortable with that combination. Good. So just like we were doing with the TH and the S sound,
Yeah.
TH and S, where I was saying, okay, we have to get that combination.
Yeah.
We have to do the same thing with the K and the TH.
Yeah, but it seems to be that K and TH is more difficult.
So what we, yeah, and it's all relative, right? What's difficult for one is maybe easier for others, but
Okay.
so yeah, for you, that K and the TH is hard one. So what you want to make sure is you don't have to go, you don't have to do that full, but you do have to make contact.
Yeah.
So you're making contact back there, and then you're releasing it as you're moving towards the TH sound. I like that. I like that. So there's kind of this there's a small touch in the back of your mouth for the K. Okay. I like that. I like that.
I like that. I like that.
Okay. So yeah, now it's just a matter of like, okay, how can I get that to move even
quickly.
faster, and that just comes with practice.
Okay.
Same thing with like, I think they should come.
I think they.
I think they should come. I think they should come.
I think they should come.
And you can reduce that K a little bit more, so it's not as strong of a K. You can just do, I think that. I think that. Because as long as you get that connection with the K, with the tongue to the roof, then it'll be, that's enough. I think that. I think that.
I think that. I think that.
There you
I think that. Yeah.
So if it's a subtle sound, that's just fine. But you do have to make that contact.
Okay. It seems to be that we put the mouth at the right position, but not make too loud sound.
Exactly. Because the difference is, if you said, I see that, that wouldn't right. If we deleted that sound, that wouldn't right. See that, I think that, no, I think that. So we have to get the position right, but we don't always release it fully. I think that.
Okay. Yes.
Very good question. Yep.
Yeah.
And that goes for any other combination that you guys are, are hearing or feeling in your speech. Is if there's, I'm really struggling to get from this word to this word. Think, what's at the end of the first word and what's at the beginning of the second word? How can we break that down so that I can move from that sound to that sound faster? And sometimes it's with the linking, you don't always release. You always get your mouth in position for the ending sound, but you don't always release it for the next. So that's like, I think that, it wasn't, I think that. There's definitely a think that. It has to get in position, but it doesn't always release. So there's a number of different combinations that you could do, but we go through that a lot in the linking lesson, and that's in week 6, I think is what it is. All right, good. Okay, so I've gotten to the bottom of the questions list. If anybody else has questions, go ahead and write them in. But I was going to jump into this speech that I have, and we were going to talk a little bit about rhythm. Oops. Let's see. Okay, so this is a speech by Kelly McGonigal, and she's talking about how to make stress your friend. So last week we only got through the first paragraph because we were kind of working on a variety of tone changes in our voice. But I wanted to kind of for those of you who weren't at the webinar last week, let me get you up to speed. So basically, when we're talking about the rhythm of English, we're talking about the rising and lowering of your voice. We're talking about stressing and emphasizing words, which is done through tone. We go through all these different concepts, but we have to bring them all together and make sure they're all working together. Okay, so in a speech like this, I would say, here's the rhythm. I want you to really bring your attention to the rhythm. So I have a confession to make. So that's one message unit or one chunk. I have a confession to make. So I'm not saying I have a confession to make. There's no pausing in between that phrase. I have a confession to make. But first, I want you to make a little confession to me. Okay, so what's happening here is I have these chunks. I've made those chunks, so I have a confession to make. Up and over the hill, up and over the hill. Like we're talking about, it's not that I have a confession to make. It's not I have a confession to make, where it's kind of going up and down. It's I have a confession to make. And I'm still emphasizing confession because that's word stress. I have a confession to make. But the overall rhythm is this up and over the hill. But first, I want you to make a little confession to me. So I'm contrast stress there. We talk a little bit about that in sentence stress lesson. In the past year, so these are kind of those tag phrases. But first, in the past year, I want you to just raise your hand. Okay, so there becomes a message unit, a chunk. I want you to just raise your hand if you've experienced relatively little stress. Anyone? Okay, so yes or no question. Anyone? Anyone? Okay, so it kind of goes up. All right, so we went over that part last week. So now I want to kind of go on, and then we'll have you guys some volunteers. So how about a moderate amount of stress? Okay, so I was talking about a little stress in this part. Now I'm talking about, so relatively little stress. So now I'm emphasizing moderate amount of stress. Now that's the new information. So that's where I'm stressing. How about a moderate amount of stress? So still that chunk, still kind of having that chunk. How about a moderate amount of stress? So it's all kind of flowing together. Who has experienced a lot of stress? Okay, now we're emphasizing a lot. And then she goes, yeah, me too. So it's kind of, yeah, me too, yeah, me too. All right, anybody want to try this? And I'm going to have you go from the beginning so you can get a good amount of practice here. Go ahead and do the raise hand icon. Ebleen, you there? Oh, darn it. Ebleen, I know you want to volunteer, but your microphone doesn't seem to be connected. I'll leave it unmuted in case you can get that worked out. Soman, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, great. You want to do this for us?
Okay, let me try.
Okay, so go from the very beginning. I have a confession to make.
I have a confession to make. But first, I want you to make a little confession to me. In the past year, I want you to just raise your hand if you have experienced relatively little stress. Anyone? How about a moderate amount of stress? Who has experienced a lot of stress? Yeah, me too.
All right, good, good. Okay, so you could put even more emphasis on that, and especially, and I know it's different when you're speaking versus reading something, and especially for the first time, but I'm going to have you do those last two phrases. How about a moderate amount of stress? Okay, so you really kind of think about, I'm talking to an audience and I'm asking them a question. How would you say that? So how about a moderate amount of stress? Who has experienced a lot of stress? Yeah, me too. Okay, do those two for me.
How about a moderate amount of stress? Who has experienced a lot of stress? Yeah, me too.
Okay, so even slowing down a little bit and to get that emphasis. So how about a moderate amount of stress?
How about a moderate amount of stress?
Okay, and then who has experienced a lot of stress?
Who has experienced a lot of stress?
There you go. So that's what I like, is slow down a little bit. Instead of having all of the words kind of have the equal amount of time, because you're getting the intonation there, but I want the pace to kind of slow down when you emphasize something. Okay? So, okay. Yeah, so do that last sentence. Who's experienced a lot of stress? Yeah, me too.
Who has experienced a lot of stress? Yeah, me too.
Good. Okay, that was a good representation of just kind of keeping, at first it was kind of keeping the same pace through the whole thing versus then slowing down where you really want to emphasize. That is going to make a huge difference in the way people, kind of respond to what you're saying, because otherwise what happens when someone's listening is they're just hearing the same. It's kind of like hearing the same note, but kind of pushing that same note on the piano versus holding the note and then releasing it, and kind of having that variation. It makes it more interesting for people to hear, and so they'll pay attention a bit more. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good. Okay, Ableen, I think I got your microphone got working, because at some point I heard you. Ableen, you there? Ableen? Oh, we're working on it. It's trying. Let's see. Ableen, are you there? Okay, Anna.
I'm here.
Ableen, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. We got your microphone working. All right, good. You want to try this?
Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead.
So, you want me to start from the beginning?
Yeah, from the beginning. That'd be great.
I have a confession to make, but first, I want you to make a little confession to me. In the past year, I want you to just raise your hand if you have experienced relatively little stress. Anyone? How about a moderate amount of stress? Who has experienced a lot of stress? Yeah, me too.
Okay. All right. So overall, you have the rhythm. The first paragraph, I would say maybe, if we're going to compare it, you kind of have these little hills where the variation on your tone was varied, but not too much. And then on those last two phrases, you got a little bit more emphasized in your, the variation in your tone. So with that first paragraph, we want to get even, have it a little bit more varied. So I have a confession to make. Do that for me. I have a confession to make.
I have a confession to make.
There you go. But first, I want you to make a little confession to me.
I want you to make a little confession to me.
Good. So that variation makes it just more interesting for your listener. Okay. In the past year.
In the past year.
I want you to just raise your hand.
I want you to just raise your hand.
If you've experienced relatively little stress.
If you have experienced relatively little stress.
Mm-hmm. And that phrase, relatively little stress, you can kind of slow down and emphasize those words because it is kind of a little bit harder to say. You know, if you've experienced relatively little stress.
Relatively little stress.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Good. Okay, so that time you're matching kind of that tone and that variation, and you got a lot of kind of variation to your tone, and it made it more engaging, I guess you could say. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so do that first paragraph one more time for me.
I have a confession to make, but first, I want you to make a little confession to me. In the past year, I want you just to raise your hand if you have experienced relatively little stress. Anyone?
Good. Okay, much better. So as you're practicing and as you're reading out loud and you're going through the paragraphs and you're, you know, that I've given you for your practice and you're getting into rhythm, definitely work on that variation. And it might feel like you're doing it too much, I guess you could say. Because if you're not used to varying your tone, then it's going to sound like you're overdoing it, but I promise you, you're not. Okay.
Okay.
The greatest speakers and the most engaging speakers and communicators that I've come across are people who have a lot of variation. And so it's interesting to listen to them. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you.
good. Okay, let's see. Anna, I'm going to have you. Anna, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead from the beginning.
Okay. I have a confession to make, but first, I want you to make a little confession to me. In the past year, I want you to raise your hand if you experience relatively little stress. Anyone? How about a moderate amount of stress? Who has experienced a lot of stress? Yeah, me too.
Good, very nice. Okay, so
Thank you.
definitely using that variation, emphasizing and slowing down on some of these key words. That's good. So for you, Anna, one thing that I want you to kind of be thinking about as you're going forward is how can I get a really strong voice? And that comes from that posture, right? Some really good breathing so that you're getting a strong projection to your voice, and making sure. And so later on in the program, I talk about kind of your voice. There's a lesson in the alumni program called Your Voice, and what we talk about is there's like a head voice and a chest voice. So a head voice is when we talk up here and we have, you know, kind of more of the vibrations kind of up here. A chest voice is when you bring it down into your chest and the vibrations are down here. So I want you to say, like, raise your hand for me. Say, raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
Okay. Concentrate on kind of bringing that voice down here. Raise your hand. Kind of bring it lower. Raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
There you go. You got a lot of just like beef to that.
Okay.
There's a lot of energy and a lot of strength to that. So as you're practicing, kind of bring that voice lower and just kind of base it more down here in your chest. Raise your hand and kind of bring that push, I guess, from your chest as you're speaking. Okay, so real quick, just do those first two lines for me and kind of think of that chest voice.
I have a confession to make, but first, I want you to make a little confession to me.
Yes. Okay, good. I want you to practice that more and more, kind of bring it from the head voice to a chest voice. And the reason that I have you do that is because there's been a lot of research to say that those who kind of use more of that chest voice, they project an image of being more knowledgeable, understanding the content more. People give a bit more kind of credit to them, and they become more of the authority on that. And so it brings a lot of, I guess, kind of power in the way you're perceived. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, good. That's fun. Okay, and then the last one we'll have Rose. I'm going to have you do this, and then I know we're going a little bit over here. So, Rose, go ahead and say that first part for me.
Okay. I have a confession to make, but first I want you to make a little confession to me. In the past year, I want you to just raise your hand if you have experienced relatively little stress. Anyone? How about a moderate amount of stress? Who has experienced a lot of stress? Yeah, me too.
Okay, good. Good variation. You're getting the rising and lowering of your voice. I like that. There was one part that said, but first, I want you to make a little confession to me. And you kind of rose at the end of that, and I want it to drop. So do that sentence for me.
But first, I want you to make a confession to me.
Yeah, you to make a confession to me. And it kind of, because we're contrasting those two, you and me is going to come up and come down. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, but very good. Very, very good variation to that. And so the only feedback I'd give with that rhythm is making sure that, yeah, there's just this flow to it. I want you to just raise your hand. Yeah. And then pause for a second. If you've experienced relatively little stress, there's that fluency between, and making sure there are still breaks, which you did really well in this. But I know that there's kind of that tendency of, I want you to just raise your hand and if you've experienced relatively little stress, and making it all one line instead of breaking it up, because that's what helps your listener the most. Okay? But you did a great job. I like that variation.
Thank you.
All right, good, Rose. All right, excellent. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time today and what you've been able to, hopefully you've been able to get some good help on things that you were wondering about, good insight into some of these areas that you've been struggling with. Again, these webinars are for you, so we want to be making sure that we're addressing some of your questions and concerns, so that anytime that you are coming to the webinar or anything, be sure to email your questions or bring your questions to the webinar, and let's use this time to go over those things. So I like that. Definitely, if you have feedback for me, as far as, yeah, I liked when we were doing this. I got bored with this part. Definitely give me that feedback. I like hearing from you after the webinars and for you to tell me what was working and what was not. So shoot me an email, tell me what you liked, and what we can do more of next time. And we'll keep kind of adapting it to whatever it is that you need. Okay? So keep moving forward in your goals for 2016, and we're here to help as needed. So let us know what we can do to help. All right, thanks. Have a great week.